Diane Cooper, I'm so glad that you're here with us today. Welcome, warm welcome.
Hello, lovely to be here.
Yeah, you know, it's the third time that I actually speak with you over the internet like this. And I'm so grateful that you're here for me every time.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's just lovely to talk to you.
Yeah. So this is actually the first time that we only speak with you, because the previous books that we launched with you they were the books that you co-wrote with Tim Wilde.
Yes.
So now we have you all for ourselves, and we want to know, you have a long experience of life, and not only in years, but also with what you have been experiencing during this time on earth. I know that you have a very special birthplace and date and everything like that. So we want to hear a little bit more about you. And then we're also going to talk about dragons.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I was born in the Himalayas, which is a very special place. And on the 7th of September, which was the day when the first bombs started to fall on London. And so I was born at the exact moment to bring light in to the world when there was darkness on the other side of the world. That's what I was told by my guidance. And so that felt very special. But of course, I was asleep. I was a third dimensional being until I was 42. And then I was in the pit of despair, going through rock bottom stuff. And even though I had no psychic experience, no idea of anything spiritual, I came from a totally different background. I sat in a chair and said, well, if there is anything out there, show me. And you've got 1 hour. And an angel came in. And even though I had no idea about angels, I knew it was an angel. I think that's encoded within us. And it literally held out a hand and took me out of my body and took me on a journey, showed me my future for 1 hour exactly. And I didn't know what to do with this. It was so unexpected and amazing, but I held on to it. And the memory of that, the thought of it got me out of my marriage finally. And I trained to be a hypnotherapist and set up in practice. And I was aware of angels around my clients, but I didn't interact with them. And then 10 years after the first time they came, I was lying in the bath asking for some guidance about the classes I ran, and the angels came back. And this time it was just a golden angelic, there were 3 of them, there was a golden angelic voice in my head. And it said, we want you to talk to people about angels. And I said, no way. People will think I'm crazy. I'm not going to do that. And they said words that were etched in my mind forever. Who is doing your work, your ego or your higher self? And I said, okay. And I got out of the bath and I put a towel around myself and sat on the bed, and 3 angels stood in front of me and gave me all sorts of information about the angelic realms. And that started my journey. And ever since then, they've supported me. And of course, dragons are fully of the angelic realms.
Yes.
So they're angels, unicorns, and dragons. And of course, at the lower dimensions, the fairies and elementals. Because dragons.
You have connections to all of them.
Sorry?
Do you have connections with all of them?
Yes, I do.
Because you have written books and created card decks of unicorns, of dragons, of fairies.
No, I haven't, but they haven't written a book on fairies, but they feature in many of my books.
Yeah.
Conversations I've had with them, things they've told me, etc. Yeah.
When you say they are of the lower frequency, how would you describe that?
Okay, well, many of the elementals are third or fourth dimensional with the hearts open. At the cosmic moment in 2012, many of the fairies moved up into the fifth dimension, and now many of those have again moved up, and they have moved into the angelic realms. So when they become seventh dimensional, they then start to train to be guardian angels to people.
Yeah.
Which is so interesting. I mean, if sometimes things happen in the house, for example, I was playing cards with one of my grandchildren, and suddenly 3 of the cards were missing from the deck. And we looked at each other, they weren't around anywhere. 2 days later, I walked into the kitchen with my son, and there were the 3 cards lined up in the middle of the floor. Now, that's the fairies playing tricks. Okay, fairies, we know you're here. Stop it.
So whenever we lose something, keys or whatever, and all of a sudden they pop up again, and you're certain that I looked there, I've been searching for it here. That's probably the fairies.
It can be the fairies, or it can be that they've been taken away for a reason at that time. I mean, it's always happening with crystals.
Oh,
They like to just disappear and reappear.
yeah. And they're small and
Yeah.
So when looking at your life, you had a different life before you turned 42, you said? Yeah. What did you do back then? Did you work with something else, or?
I was a housewife, an expat housewife. So I lived abroad, and then I came back to England for the divorce, basically, and then my entire life changed.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
Came
Yeah.
onto a totally different path, and then I learned about what I had signed up to do in this lifetime, and of course that makes everything worthwhile.
So the 10-year period where you had met the angels the first time, you had an incredible experience with them, and then 10 years passed. And why do you think you did not interact with them? Because you saw them around people and your clients and so on. So why did you not interact with them?
I don't think I was ready.
No.
You know, I worked with guides, and I was on a very fast learning curve. I was training to be a healer with the National Federation of Spiritual Healers. That's where my interest was lying. And then obviously they prepared me, and I was ready. And I'd written 4 books by then, but not they were more about transforming your life rather than angelic. And they're still out there. The first one was recently republished in Germany, Light Up Your Life, which I think is just amazing, 40 years ago.
I actually reached out to that publisher.
All right.
Because I wanted to see if, I haven't read it yet.
Well, anyway, that was the very first book. And so then I wrote angel books and books belonging to the ascension and enlightenment and the higher energies, as I was given more and more information from the higher realms.
And today, a life with angels is your everyday living.
Yes. Doesn't mean to say I see them. I'm just totally know that they are there, and I'm aware of them. And I don't particularly want to switch on seeing, because that's a two-edged sword. But if you know, I don't need to see in the same way. And sometimes I see, if I really need to, they'll show me.
So about dragons.
Right.
We do have a book coming up about dragons. And it's not just 1 or 2 or 3. It's so many dragons. Can you tell us a little bit about dragons in your life and in our sphere?
Yes. I suppose I've always been aware of dragons, even though I wasn't consciously aware. We used to have, when I was a child in India, we used to have this carved dragon in the hall, and it was called Dougie. And that dragon traveled back to England and was always in the hall in my lifetime. And when I got into dragons, I asked what my dragon's name was. And this dragon was called Dougie. this wooden dragon. And so I said, well, what's my dragon called? I said, it's my dragon, Dougie. And they said, no, that's your mother's dragon. So even though she was never conscious of it, that dragon was always with her. My dragon is called Douglas, which is obviously a part of the same family.
Yeah.
And so interesting. And Douglas is always with me. He sits in my garden waiting for me to give him instructions, because all of the angelic realms have to wait for us to give them instructions and things to do. And every night I ask him to put a firewall around my house to protect me and the inhabitants and keep the energy clear. Every time I get into the car, I ask the dragons to be in front of me and behind me, clearing the energies in front of me. Then I ask the angels to be around and the unicorns to hold the frequency high above. And so I always go out surrounded by dragons, angels, and unicorns. And what a difference it makes.
Yeah.
And if you're going for a walk, if you just ask the dragons to go in front of you and clear the path, means you don't come into hazards and difficulties or have just stray negative energy floating across to you, especially if you're living in an area where there are lower energies. Then clear it wherever you go. It's really, really helpful, because the earth dragons will clear the energy underneath the earth. And so there is so much stuff underneath that's been built up for millions of years. You know, all these fires that we're seeing this year, that's all ancient Lemurian, end of Lemurian darkness, end of Atlantean darkness. All these fires, well, most of them are taking place in those areas because they're doing a clearing. But if we send the dragons in and ask them to clear it, we don't have to go through the stuff on Earth. So what people can do is ask the dragons to clear a space of a mile around themselves, below, around, and above. And that keeps the energy clear in that area. It also means that if you're going for a walk and you ask the dragons to clear underneath you and around you, that area is cleansed for other people too. I'm doing a huge event in Portugal in October. Well, we're live streaming it around the whole world to raise the frequency of the entire planet. I mean, it's absolutely awesome. We're going to start by raising the frequency of the third eye and anchoring higher energy from Jupiter and its ascended aspect Jumbe into the earth. Then we're doing an Akashic clearing, Akashic record clearing for the world, and that's really going to shift things. And then merge with your monad. Now we have to do all sorts of things, but we're starting with the dragons clearing a space around everybody for a mile round. Now this is going to China, Taiwan, America, Australia, everywhere, because it's so, so important. And then we have to, obviously we work with the masters, and then we create an archangel ball of energy around us. When we're in that energy, we go out to the cosmos and unlock the cosmic codes within different planets and bring in the light codes. But the way we do that is with love, and our journey is protected by the galactic dragons, who just work for us to help us. And they create vortices of light to enable those light codes to come into us totally safely. And then when we have those, we can bring them all down into Earth. And so we've lit ourselves up, we light the planet up. We are shifting the energy of Earth, because of course the dragons love Earth. They started by building Earth in the first place, but we then are going to be able to change the energy of Earth from gold to golden white, a much higher frequency. And they will help us to pulse that energy out into the universe. When we have done that, and we can bring that gold and white, which are perfect balance of power and wisdom, with the only planet that has this, then we can bring it up through us, and then we connect to our monads. And so that is just awesome. And the dragon.
This is an event in October that you're hosting?
There is a live event. The live event is sold out. We are now live streaming it to as many countries as possible, where people will take the link for free and translate it. You might like to do this. It is so important. So
Definitely.
I'm paying for all the live stream company, and I'm just offering people the link so that they can put it out, translate it, and put it out to their followers. I mean, it is so important.
When is this?
It's the 22nd of October.
22nd of October. Can you send me the link?
Yes, it's all on my website, all the information.
Oh, already?
Yeah. Oh, yes, because it's just so important. I have to go to the Intergalactic Council every day. I have to do this meditation myself every single morning. I've been told I mustn't fail. It's that important. And I know that I'm a different person. No, they actually awaken qualities within you every day. And then I talk to the Intergalactic Council, and they've now agreed that if everybody, I asked Serapis Bey if on that day he could put the pure white flame of Atlantis over the entire planet, because the pure white flame of Atlantis protects against lower frequencies, which are there stuck in the planet, and it also illuminates you from inside. And Serapis Bey said it was much too big a task because it would affect the whole universe. So I'd have to ask permission from the Intergalactic Council. When I went to them, they said, "Oh, we'll have to consult about this, come back again." I went back the next day, and they said, yes, if everybody who's done the monadic merge comes to us together to ask this, we will grant that permission. And then Serapis Bey can bring it down over the whole planet, and it will clear the lower frequencies up to more than 25%. And I think we can build on that. And so that's awesome. But here's another awesome thing. When everyone has merged with their monad, and then the monads will all merge together, it's going to illuminate the entire universe. I mean, it is so important for the planet and the universe.
Yeah. What is a monad? Can you tell us?
Yes, your monad is your I am presence. It's the original spark from God. So it is your God self.
Can you call it the higher self?
No, it's beyond the higher self. The higher self is your soul energy. And this is when you've integrated your soul energy, you can move up to connect with your monad. But this has not been possible. We're now getting into that possibility. And this meditation they've given me can move everybody up into that level. Now, your monad is 12th dimensional. On Earth, we have never been able to reach that level. We are just able to reach the 11th dimension. And so what we're doing is moving all up together to the 11th dimension, and our monad then comes down to merge with us, to enfold us, embrace us, and hold us. And that's how it happens. But having so said, I'm working with the Stellar Gateway, and for the first time, we're having permission in my next seminar, and I've only just been given this, that to move into that 12th dimension and open the 12 chambers of the Stellar Gateway, light up the energies within them, which are they all have a different color frequency, and they're all different qualities.
Is that the 12 chakras?
That's the 12th chakra. That's the stellar gateway. That's the very highest that we can reach. And that is our connection to our monad.
Yeah.
So amazing things are happening
Mm.
right now on the planet.
I would say that amazing things have happened to you, with you, in the last few years, because I remember the first time I met you, I think it was 2020, in the beginning of 2020. And then the year after, in the beginning of 2021, you were sparkling like a different person. And you told me then that you had moved into the fifth dimension 100%.
Right. Okay.
Do you remember that? Or am I remembering the wrong one, the wrong thing? But
It might well
it
be
was
right.
something like that. You are, what I wanted to say is that you are always evolving within the angelic realms.
Well, just evolving in life.
Mm.
And we go through, everybody goes through tests
Mm.
and severe tests, which are initiations,
Mm.
all designed to move you to a level higher, as long as you go through them with joy and acceptance.
Yeah. What can an initiation be? Can it be any kind of challenge, or does
Well,
it
it
have
can
to
be.
be super hard?
It's usually super hard. The one I went through when I got divorced, that was an initiation of the heart.
Mm.
And then, as we were discussing just before we came on live, I had cancer 6 years ago. Now, I had done a very powerful New Year's Eve ceremony where I said, probably stupidly, that I would take the very darkest energy of Atlantis through me to clear it. And I did that for 7 years. And of course, it formed that cancer. And then that was removed and that was taken out for humanity. And that was an initiation for me, but it also helped everybody. And then last year, I got exactly the same symptoms. And I said to my guide, okay, what's this about? And I had the same thing again in the same place. And he said that there was such shock and horror at when Atlantis, which had been such a high civilization, just collapsed so suddenly. And that shock and horror was preventing us from moving fully into our golden future, into the new age. And so I'd undertaken to take that shock energy through me, and it had created this physical cancer, and that was removed. But it was so wonderful because I knew exactly what it was. I knew that I was going through an initiation. I knew I would come out at a higher level.
Mhm.
And I knew that there was a new job for me to do when I came out of it. And so I went into the hospital just beaming with joy. The nurses were saying things like, now, dear, do you know exactly why you're in hospital? And I was saying, yes. And I would tell them exactly. And they go, oh, okay. But as soon as I came out, I felt at a higher frequency. I had
Yeah.
so much love sent to me, so much assistance, physical assistance and otherwise. And I feel that what we're doing now, creating this, awakening the entire world to a higher frequency, is part of it.
Mm.
And of course, it's wonderful to know that the dragons are doing their part, the angels, the unicorns, the great illumined masters are working incredibly hard.
Yeah.
And when I go to the Intergalactic Council every day, starters about 5 million beings from other planets, all coming to offer assistance. And now there are billions. It's the most extraordinary thing. We are literally attracting help from everywhere for Earth to move forward.
Yeah. So what do you, looking at the dragons and trying to find their role, understand their role for the universe and for us, and the difference between the dragons and the angels,
Mm.
what are the different perspectives and roles here, and when should we when should we turn to either or?
I would say you turn to whichever one feels right for you at the time.
They can do both. Both of them can do, like, or both angels and dragons can do the same thing.
In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. For example, if I see somewhere where there's somebody's talking about a challenge or a war zone or something like that, I would send the dragons in to clear the lower energies, because the earth, fire, air, and water dragons are fourth dimensional, and they can go into deep, dense energies and clear it. Angels can't do that. So I would then ask the angels to come in and help the people and support them. And then ask the unicorns to pour higher frequency light into the entire situation. So they're all working on different frequency bands, but they're all part of the angelic realms. They all come from the heart of source. They don't have free will like we do on earth.
No. And as long as we ask them, they're there to help us.
Absolutely. And they will help, and they want to be helped. And I expect you know this, but if you're an earth sign, because everyone has a personal dragon. So if you're an earth sign, so that's a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn, you will probably have an earth dragon. If you're an air sign, that's Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, you will probably have an air dragon. If you're a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, you'll probably have, what have I said? If you're an air sign, you'll probably have an air dragon. Sorry. If you're a water sign, you'll probably have a water dragon. If you're a fire sign, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, you'll definitely have a fire dragon. Now, it's always the case. I'm very earth. I'm Virgo, but I've got 8 signs in earth. I know it's almost impossible. Determined to do my job this time round, but I have a fire dragon to push me forward. Yeah. So Douglas is a fire dragon. So if you need a fire dragon to fulfill your mission, then it will come to you. If you need to be more psychic and intuitive in your life, a water dragon will come to you. If you need to be grounded to make your ideas come to fruition, you'll have an earth dragon. And if you need to communicate clearly and inspirationally, then an air dragon will come to you.
And all of this is very well explained in the book Dragons, of how to find your own personal dragon and connect to it.
Yes, absolutely.
Can I tell you a personal experience?
Absolutely.
So in 2020, in January, just before the pandemic broke, I was in Dubai, and I was attending an advanced retreat with Joe Dispenza. Do you know Joe Dispenza?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it was a marvelous experience, and we went on a morning walking meditation for, I think, 1.5 hours or so. And to be honest, I have to be honest and say I've never thought about dragons more than I think they're kind of beautiful and, funny, or not just funny. They can be quite scary to him from the fantasy world. But that was for me, the fantasy world. And then in this meditation, I don't know what happened, but I was totally, how do you say, amazed. And I've never experienced anything like it. And I can't explain it. But there was a dragon. And it was pink. And I can still see it in front of me. And I've never seen a picture of it. I've never, I don't know, it feels very strange to talk about, but I know she was there.
How fabulous.
It was fabulous, yes, but I still don't know why she, I think it was a she, if they have a gender, I don't know. And I don't know what she wants with me. I've never contacted.
What my guide has just told me is that you come from Andromeda. Now that's the higher heart of the universe and brings in higher heart energy. And of course, the dragons from there are pink. And so this was a dragon from Andromeda connecting with you to tune you into the higher love energy that they carry.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is that my personal dragon?
I think you have a personal dragon that's pink, but I think that this was a generic dragon, or not a generic dragon, but a dragon, one of the dragons, the main dragons from Andromeda that came to you at that moment to take you to another level of opening your heart while you were available on this retreat.
Yeah, it certainly worked. It was fantastic. I want to come back to that moment again and again. And I think that's something, I'm not alone in that. When you experience something very extraordinary, you want to come back to it. It can almost be like a drug.
Oh, right. Well, that's the frequency, isn't it? And don't
Mhm.
forget, you're used to the frequency of Andromeda. That's where you come from. That's where your soul resonates with. And so if an Andromeda dragon comes to you, that's going to feel so special.
Mm,
That's
like
your
home.
energy. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Where do you feel home?
I don't come from this universe. So I've stepped in several times when Earth is going through big changes to help with the changes.
I can almost tell.
About
You're amazing.
that. No, it freaks people out, but no, they're not.
But
Yeah.
what universe? I mean, there must be another universe, perhaps, or
Lots of universes. I come from a universe, the planet, it's, oh God, my universe is a 10th dimensional universe, and I come from a planet called Byron B, which is a masculine planet. It's got a twin planet called Byron A. And so they work on blue lilac and pink lilac vibrations. And you can call in those energies and they will really help you in lots and lots of ways.
So what's cool about you, Diana, is that you have everything so clear. And you can tell
I've been
in
at
the
this a
books
long
as well.
time, haven't I?
Sorry?
I've been at this for 40 years now.
Yes, but still. I could never, I mean, you can tell that it's something that it's within you. It's not something that you had to learn. It's just something that you have. It's a talent, or it's a gift, whatever you want to see it. And you can tell in the books that we translate that everything is almost like an academic spiritual book.
I hope not. I
No,
try to
but
make it really
in a good
accessible
way.
and easy and
In a
full of
good way.
stories. I try to give as much information as possible. And what they've always said to me is that because whenever I receive something, I give it out. I put it into my newsletters or books or something, they give me more. So, if people are holding on to it and they say, "Oh, I didn't talk about it," then they don't give you any more because it's not part of the flow of the universe.
Ah,
But so flowing, just letting go of the information,
yeah.
just
That's good to know. Yeah, it's like a tube, something goes out, something comes in.
absolutely.
And I have to recommend everyone who's watching this interview to go onto your website, because you are there quite frequently. And with your messages, you can watch videos where you talk about things that are happening right now. And it's very interesting, and it's great to follow you.
Thank you.
Mhm. So it's dianacooper.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So about dragons, once again. So the book Dragons, what can we find in this book? I want to hear it from you.
You can find information about the different kinds of dragons and a lot about dragons in general. When I was writing it, it was actually the most extraordinary experience that I haven't had with any other book. That each day, normally I'm a Virgo, I do everything in order, but not with the dragons. No. I would wake up in the morning not having any idea which dragon would come in. And then a dragon would come in and I would write about them. And they would tell me all about them and appear. Very often I could see them because they wanted to show me what they looked like. And so then I would write about them and they'd tell me about them. And that was really interesting and different.
And there are so much information about them. For me, and for the readers who like the idea of the dragons and want to connect with them and so on, do we all have to know everything that you know? Because I don't think that I will ever remember what dragon is doing what, and
And it doesn't matter, does it? Because all the information is encoded within us from ancient times. And so all we have to do is have the heart intention of connecting with the right dragon at that time, and it will come to you. And it will be there to help you. It's like the angels. You only got to need something and ask, and that energy will be there to support you and help you. I mean, the dragons can help you in so many, many ways. They protect you, they put light around you, they can help you, like water dragons. Well, if you've got a stuck situation, they'll help you flow around it. And they can transmute the lower energies before you reach the situation. They can inspire you. They can ground your visions. Water dragons, they carry the Christ light. So if you ask water dragons to flow through your home, they leave a trail of Christ light, unconditional love in your home. I mean, that's amazing. And you can ask them to help your friends in all sorts of ways. They can travel with you at night. Now, if you go through the astral realms, that's when you have a frightening dreams and emotional stuff you haven't cleared. They can help you clear it. They can clear the energy in front of you. Or if you've got bad emotional memories, ask them to burn them up so that you don't have to go through that repeated experience. So, as I've said, they can go in front of you, clearing and lighting up your path. And so many children are attuned to dragons and love them. And so many more dragons are now, they've been lying dormant under the earth, waiting for us all these years. The Lemurian dragons, which are the earth, air, fire, and water ones, the fourth dimensional ones, they so loved the earth that at the end of that civilization, they created liquid crystals containing the wisdom of the stars. And they were specifically intended to help our planet now. I mean, all those donkeys years ago, for the period between 2012 and 2032, they did all that for this 20-year period. And the dragons, the Lemurians created the liquid crystals, the liquid light, but the dragons helped to place it within the earth, in the seams in the earth. And so even for the golden era of Atlantis, the dragons formed the hill. They created the hill of Poseidon, which housed the great temple and the great crystal of Atlantis. And they protected that great crystal, and they protected the journeys from that crystal to the stars to keep everything energetically cleared. Now, here's the amazing thing. At the end of Atlantis, the dragons were offered promotion to the fifth dimension as a reward for their great service. But they declined because they said that humanity would need their help after 2012. And so they stayed at that level, at that frequency, in order to help us now. I mean, can you imagine a greater sacrifice?
Just fantastic. We thank them.
Yeah.
Perhaps we can thank them by using them a bit more.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And of course, there are now that the frequency's gone up, there are so many more much higher frequency dragons. Like you've talked about the dragon from Andromeda that came to you as a beautiful pink dragon. But there are so many people from other star systems amongst us. And there are dragons that come from those. Somebody sent me an orb picture the other day, but what it was a Pleiadian dragon coming in to give healing to someone. I mean, just awesome.
So people send you pictures
I
of
don't encourage it. I get a lot already. I'm already working 24 hours a day.
yes, you must. I don't understand where you get time to do everything that you do, because you also produce books in a quite high speed.
Well, yes, this was the next book that's just come out last week. Is in English, and that's The Golden Future. That's my 34th book.
34th. You know, we are actually launching it in the spring.
I know. I'm so pleased.
I received it yesterday by post.
We got it. Oh, hold it
Yes.
up if you got it there. Why?
No, I have it in the other room. It's
There we are.
beautiful. Oh, you got it here. Yes.
And it
Go
looks so
future.
different. And it's got a very, very high vibration, because we
Yes.
are going to get there. And as I say, the dragons are helping us move into the amazing new golden age that's awaiting us.
Mhm. Yes. And the angels. So when you say that the angels and the dragons are in the same realm, what does that mean really?
Okay, well, humanity moves through one stream, if you like, and the angelic realm is another stream. So the angelic realm starts with the fairies and the elementals, and then it moves through the higher realms of the guardian angels, and then the angels, then the archangels, through the principalities, right up to the seraphim. And that is the angelic realm. And belonging to that realm are the unicorns and the dragons. So
Also,
they come from the heart of God. Is one way of describing it.
Yeah. So I think that a lot of people want to find their personal dragon. Do you have any good tips? I know that you have it in the book, but is there something you can say here in this interview so that people who listen to this actually can go directly and try and connect to their personal dragon?
Yeah, well, yes. First thing to do is just know that you have a dragon. The minute you think about that dragon, it will come to you. And why don't you just close your eyes and just say, my own personal dragon, please come to me and let me sense or feel your energies or even see you. Now you may feel a puff of heat if it's a fire dragon. You may feel kind of swish of movement of air if it's an air dragon. You may feel a watery sensation if it's a water dragon. And you may feel yourself being grounded if it's an earth dragon. Don't worry if you don't feel it. Just know it is with you and ask it what its name vibration is. Take the first name that comes to you. And then, what would you like your dragon to do for you or for somebody else? Ask it now. And then know and trust that the dragons are doing everything they possibly can to fulfill your wish. And then let's all collectively send out the earth dragons to Afghanistan and ask them to clear the energy under Afghanistan. Afghanistan is the third eye chakra of the planet. We need to clear it. So we need to clear our third eye so that Afghanistan can clear. We need to clear Afghanistan so that our third eyes can clear. It all works together. And then we can bring in world peace. And now ask the air dragons to waft round the minds of the Taliban and the people and clear away lower thoughts. Just waft them away and blow in thoughts of peace and togetherness and abundance and oneness. And ask the water dragons, beautiful, beautiful water dragons, to go in and swirl all round Afghanistan, round the people, through the mountains, just everywhere. Thousands and thousands of dragons leaving trails of Christ light so that the people can sense it. And finally, ask the fire dragons who are pushing out fire to transmute lower energies, to send that energy round and burn up all the anger, the fear, all the stuck stuff, the old ideas. And then let the dragons form a great ring of light around Afghanistan. And just see the whole energy lighter and clearer. And thank the dragons. And know that you have just added to the impulse towards peace on the planet. And then thank your personal dragon for being close to you and helping you. And then open your eyes.
Diana, thank you very much for a very nice meditation.
Thank you for asking me. Thank the dragons. That's what they wanted to do. They came in.
They came in and steered you. Yeah. I want to do this again and try to connect with my personal dragon again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get a name?
No, I know it starts with an A.
Okay. Well, then that's a starting point, because then they can give you more when
Yeah.
you're receptive and ready.
I figure. Yeah. So, The Golden Future is the next book. So our first book from you now is Dragons, and then the Golden Future will follow in the spring or close to summer 2024. What do you see coming after that? Are you ever going to finish your writing?
Oh, I don't know. At the moment, I'm not writing a book, because everything I'm doing is towards the event on the 22nd of October to raise the frequency of the world. I have got some more ideas. Whether they will come to fruition or not, I don't know. I have no energy to put into that right now.
I think the event on the 22nd of October will follow perfect around the launch of Dragons.
Good.
So it will be a pleasure to add the link to your event.
Thank you very much.
During that time, yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of our members who will appreciate it.
Brilliant. Thank
Yes.
you.
Good. So Diana, I want to thank you very much for your time with me today. And are you traveling to Sweden again, do you think?
At the moment, I'm not traveling.
No.
At all. Only Portugal. That's the only thing I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah. So if there's a chance we can meet online or physical in the future, I think there will be an audience that would really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's been lovely talking to you.
Wonderful.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a good day now.
And you. Bye-bye then.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.